What would you do if the future you'd built your whole life around was stolen by the people you trusted most? Ethan Carter, barely 20, stood at the edge of his world crumbling, staring at an empty bank account that once held his dreams. His father's death had been the first blow, a sudden heart attack that tore through their family like a storm. Ethan had grieved quietly, holding his mother and younger sister, Lily, as they wept through endless nights. He thought they'd rebuild together. He was wrong. Ethan had always been the steady one. At 16, he'd started working part-time at a local bookstore, saving every penny for college. His father, a high school math teacher, had instilled in him a love for learning, a belief that education was the ladder out of their small, struggling town. The college fund, built from years of his father's savings and Ethan's own sacrifices, was secrete a promise of a future where he could become a doctor, help people, and make his dad proud. But 6 months after the funeral, Ethan logged into the account to check his balance for university applications. His heart stopped. The account was empty. Every cent $32,000 gone. He confronted his mother that evening in their cramped kitchen. The air was thick with the smell of burnt toast and unspoken tension. "Mom, what happened to the college fund?" His voice trembled, not with anger, but with a desperate need for it to be a mistake. She didn't meet his eyes. Instead, she stirred her coffee, her hands shaking slightly. "I gave it to Lily," she said finally, her voice flat. She needed it more. Lily, his 16-year-old sister, wild and impulsive, who'd been spiraling since their father's death. She'd fallen in with a crowd that partied too hard, her grades slipping, her eyes always red-rimmed. Ethan had tried to reach her, but she'd pushed him away, lost in her own grief. Needed it for what? Ethan pressed, his chest tightening. His mother sighed, and the truth spilled out like poison. Lily had gotten into trouble, serious trouble. A car accident, driving under the influence, had left another kid injured. The family was suing, and the legal fees were crushing. His mother had drained the college fund to pay for Lily's lawyer, her rehab, and a settlement to keep her out of juvie. "She's your sister, Ethan," his mother said, finally looking at him. "I had to save her." Ethan felt the floor drop out from under him. Save her? What about him? He'd done everything right, worked weekends, studied late, kept the family together when his mother could barely get out of bed. And now, his future was collateral damage for Lily's mistakes. He wanted to scream, to demand why she hadn't even asked him, but the words caught in his throat. Instead, he walked out, the door slamming behind him, echoing in the quiet night. For weeks, Ethan wrestled with his anger. He took extra shifts at the bookstore, trying to save what little he could, but it was a drop in the bucket. College deadlines loomed, and every rejection letter felt like a punch. He couldn't afford the application fees, let alone tuition. At home, Lily was back from rehab, quieter now, but Ethan couldn't look at her without seeing his dreams slipping away. His mother acted as if nothing had changed, as if her choice was justified, no apologies offered. The silence between them grew heavier each day. Then came the twist, the kind of moment that shifts the ground beneath you. One rainy afternoon, Ethan found an envelope slipped under his bedroom door. Inside was a letter, handwritten in Lily's messy scrawl. "I know what Mom did," it began. "I didn't ask her to. I didn't know until it was done." She wrote about her shame, how she'd overheard their mother's decision and begged her to stop, but their mother had insisted it was the only way. Lily had been too broken to fight harder, too lost in her own guilt. At the bottom, she'd taped a key and an address to a storage unit downtown. "Dad left something for you," she wrote. "I found it in his things. I'm so sorry, Ethan." His heart raced as he drove to the storage unit, the key heavy in his pocket. Inside, he found a small box labeled with his name in his father's precise handwriting. It held a stack of letters, each one dated on his birthdays from age 5 to 18, and a worn leather journal. The letters were his father's words to him, stories of their family, life lessons, encouragements to chase his dreams. The journal was something else entirely, a detailed plan his father had written for Ethan's future, including a list of scholarships, contacts at universities, and even a small life insurance policy Ethan had never known about. It wasn't enough to replace the college fund, but it was a life-linear chance. Tears stung his eyes as he read his father's final letter. "Ethan, you're stronger than you know. Whatever happens, you'll find a way. I believe in you." For the first time in months, Ethan felt his father's presence, not as a ghost, but as a guide. But the anger lingered toward his mother, who'd made her choice without a flicker of regret, and toward the unfairness of it all. He could have given up, let the betrayal define him, but something in those letters sparked a fire. He wouldn't let this break him. Ethan threw himself into action. He applied for every scholarship his father had listed, wrote essays that poured out his heart, and reached out to his father's old college friend, a professor who offered to mentor him. Slowly, doors began to open up: partial scholarship here, a grant there. It wasn't the clear path he'd once had, but it was a path. At home, things were different. He confronted his mother again, not with rage, but with quiet resolve. "You chose Lily," he said. "I get why, but you didn't choose me. I'm choosing myself now." She cried, but he didn't comfort her this time. Some wounds take longer to heal. Lily, though, became an unexpected ally. She started showing up at the bookstore, helping him close up, talking about their dad. She was trying, in her own way, to make amends. One night, she handed him a crumpled $20 bill, her first paycheck from a part-time job. "It's not much," she said, eyes downcast, "but I want to help." Ethan took it, not because he needed it, but because he saw something in her he hadn't before: remorse and maybe a chance to rebuild. A year later, Ethan stood on a small college campus, his father's journal tucked into his bag. He'd pieced together enough funding to start, and though the road ahead was uncertain, he felt a quiet pride. He'd lost his father, his savings, and, for a time, his trust in his family. But he'd found something else: resilience, the kind forged in betrayal and tempered by love. His mother's choice had nearly destroyed him, but his father's belief and his own determination had saved him. In the end, Ethan learned that family isn't just about loyalty. It's about forgiveness, even when it's hard. He didn't know if he'd ever fully trust his mother again, but he was learning to love her, flaws and all. And Lily? She was trying to find her way, just like him. As he stepped into his first lecture hall, Ethan felt his father's words echo: "You'll find a way." And he had.